were promptly triaged and transported to the local hospitals for treatment. Among those who were transported, it turned out to be the suspect, who is currently in the hospital in grave condition, and he's a male, Asian, 16 years of age, and a student of the school. The other 5 students, I'll have Captain Wegner provide their demographics. The school was locked down. They did partial evacuation. We also sheltered in place a portion of the school until we established who was responsible for this tragic shooting. The surrounding schools in the area were also placed on lockdown as a precaution. We did identified who the shooter was through firsthand witnesses, video surveillance. We confirmed it. We then executed a search warrant at the residence of the suspect, and now we're going through the very lengthy process of conducting a thorough investigation to figure out what happened and why. At the same time, we're busy now doing the reunification with the students with their parents, and all of the affected students have been notified, their families have been notified, and they're with them currently. So I'm now going to turn this over to Captain Wegner.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is Captain Kent Wegener, W-E-G-E-N-E-R. I'm the captain of Sheriff's Homicide Bureau. This morning at 7:38, Santa Clarita Station received a call of a 245 just occurred, an assault with a deadly weapon, a shooting that had just occurred at 21900 Centurion Way in Santa Clarita at Saugus High School. Upon arrival, within 2 minutes, Santa Clarita deputies recognized that it was an active shooter situation and conducted a rapid deployment onto the school premises. When they reached the quad area, they discovered 6 persons who were suffering from gunshot wounds. These were all students of the high school. All the students were triaged and transported to a local hospital. The suspect was later identified as one of the victims who was found in the quad. He is identified as a 16-year-old male whose birthday is today. The weapon that he used was recovered at the scene. It's a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, which had no more rounds in it, had no more bullets in it. He is a resident in the 22900 block of Sycamore Creek Drive in Santa Clarita. That location was contained by sheriff's deputies, and a cursory search was done to identify any other potential victims which may be at the location. There were none there. It is now being contained. A search warrant is being written, and it will be conducted to process that scene for evidence. We are in the process of interviewing students who were witnesses to this incident. Some of those students are being taken are still at the high school in a multi-purpose room, and other students are at Grace Baptist Church, where they will be interviewed by sheriff's homicide detectives. Additionally, we have scenes at the quad at the school to process the crime scene there, a team at the suspect's house, a team at 2 different local hospitals. And we have another team that's working with our tech crew to process any video which we may be able to get from the surveillance system at the high school. The FBI is here, and they are collaborating with us to preserve and capture any cell phone video which the students may have captured of this incident at the time that it happened. The suspect's girlfriend and his mother are at Santa Clarita Station with detectives currently. Detectives have reviewed the video at the scene, which clearly show the subject in the quad withdraw a handgun from his backpack, shoot and wound 5 people, and then shoot himself in the head. There are no other subjects who are outstanding as part of this incident or who took part in this assault. The victims who are hospitalized, and I regret to say that at 9:23 this morning, one of the female victims, age 16, passed away. Her parents are at the hospital. There's another female victim, age 14, another female victim, age 15, and 2 male victims, each 14 years of age. Again, this is preliminary information. I know there are rumors out there about social media posts and different videos that may have been posted from the scene. We will be looking into that. At this point, I don't have any information about that. I can tell you that we have checked for recent threats involving Saugus High School. We identified 2, which were both investigated and had no nexus to this subject. At this point, I thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Los Angeles County Fire Department Chief Darrell Osby.
Thank you. Hello, Darrell Osby, Fire Chief of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. And as mentioned today at the Saugus incident, this is a pretty sobering incident for those involved, including first responders. On behalf of the Los Angeles County Fire Department, our sympathies and prayers and positive spirits go out to everyone that was affected. As mentioned previously, along with the Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles County Fire Department got a call at 7:38 this morning for a shooting at Saugus High School. Our resources arrived unseen, with the sheriff's already unseen. We train routinely with the Sheriff's Department for these types of incidents. Our personnel went in with force protection, which means protection from the sheriffs to go in and assess the scene. At the height of the incident, the Los Angeles County Fire Department had 10 fire engines, 7 paramedic squads, 24 ambulances, 1 helicopter, and appropriate overhead on scene. Our objectives during these types of incidents is life safety intervention, triage, treatment, and transportation to the hospital. As mentioned earlier, there were a total of 6 victims that were inflicted by gunshots. They were considered critical on scene. The most critical, unfortunately, one was a headshot to the head, and the other was a cardiac full arrest. 4 victims were transported to Henry Mayo Hospital. 2 other critical were transported to Holy Cross Hospital. And then we had a non-critical that was transported to Olive for a total of 7 incidents. As we conclude this incident, from the fire department's perspective, working with the sheriffs and investigators, also there were several members of my department, and this is a very close-knit community that had kids that were also at the school. And some of those members have already been relieved to get the proper peer support and mental support on behalf of the department and on behalf of the County of Los Angeles. So our department will continue to support our personnel with the appropriate mental, spiritual, and behavioral support along with their families, and we will keep everyone else involved in our deepest thoughts.
Thank you. Now from the Los Angeles Field Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Assistant Director in